Now I'm going to speak about more in detail and for a better understanding, but this is again key crucial, okay? What are the win-win potential of S.PSS? So we get some point through the example. Now we will see more in detail those, okay? And this is really crucial, even for for whatever, for their importance, but even for your design exercise. So this is really something you have to bear in mind, because this will define whether an S.PSS then is really sustainable or not. Or better still, whether it's sustainable because it's driven by an economic sustainability. That is the key point, okay? So we will see first the environmental benefit, the socio-ethical benefit, then some other competitive benefit, some reason why they are in fact not so sustainable, some barriers, because if they would be just win-win, why they are not all over the world, why they are not the solution that are around. So as we said, it's a paradigm shift from selling product to selling unit of satisfaction, from ownership to assess, to design stakeholder configuration prior to innovation and so on. And we understood that this is able to decoupling the economic value from environmental impacting trees, and it can produce even solutions that are affordable for low and middle income context. But let's see this more in detail. So the environmental benefit. And here I have one first win-win environmental benefit. So it is an S.PSS provider. In this case, there is a case of a bicycle, offering the product, retaining the ownership, and being paid per unit of satisfaction, or offering or inclusive the product with its maintenance, repair, and upgrade. All these things now are more clear after we have repeated the things before, okay? But nevertheless, so you see, this you will learn this. Who's not familiar with system maps? These lines could be either financial flow, material flow, or information flow. That is a financial flow. We have some coincidence there to highlight it. So there is a company that is offering this, an S.PSS, okay? And is paying, of course, the pre-production, production, and distribution of a bicycle. And the client is paid per use, and we have a usual bicycle, and after a while the bicycle gets broken, so we have to produce a new bicycle, and what happens is that we have the disposal cost and the pre-production, production, and distribution cost. We go to a second example in which we have a long-lasting bicycle, because this has been a long-lasting bicycle. So what are the costs that we save here? Of course, we are cutting down those costs. The company, if it's in a S.PSS business model with that characteristic, simply cut those costs. So what happens, if you want to say, is that the longer, here is a bicycle, the product lasts, the less the cost of pre-production, production, distribution, and disposal for the company. So what is? It's an economic interest of the company to design long-lasting product, to design for one of the strategy of life cycle design. Of course, to make the question is a way in which I want you to get into the topic, okay? Because it's really, anytime you are speaking about this, then one is listening and say, yes, I get it, and then after a while, what was that? So it's good that economic benefit, environmental benefit number 2. So we have an S.PSS provider that is selling a shared use of product or product components, retaining the ownership. So we have here a low intensive use of products. It's a bike sharing again. We have, so there is a person that is using the bicycle, that is let's say the time watch, let's say. So 3 persons are using, and here we have an intensive use of product. Okay, so there are more persons in orange that are using. What is the difference? Is that in this case they get more money. So again here, the more intensive the product are used, the higher the profit. The more intensive the use, the higher the profit. And you remember that the intensive use was beneficial in environmental terms. You remember when we studied about life cycle design and so on. When it's used, when it's intensively used, better it is. That means again that for an economic interest, the provider is interested to make this to be as intensive use as possible. Okay? If one is selling drills and is not selling this as an S.PSS, he want to sell the most of the drills that maybe are the most seldomly used, so that he can sell as much as possible. Here it's just the opposite. Number 3. So here we have an S.PSS provider selling all-inclusive the access of product and the resources it consumes in use, with a payment based on unit of satisfaction, with the ownership that remains by the provider. In this case we have a washing machine, and we have a normal washing machine, so with usual resource consumption in use. So we wash clothes. There is a consumption of electricity, but actually it could be even detergent, could be even water. Even this could be included in S.PSS model. They could offer even this, even the water can be included. They pay per use, pay per wash, and the company is paying the washing cost, all the costs for these resources during the use. And what about if we move towards a system in which the consumption of water, detergent, and energy is much lower? So we go towards a high resource efficiency in use. Again, I'm washing the clothes and pay per use, but here I'm cutting several costs of the resources because are costs paid by the company. So the higher the product resources efficiency in the use phase, the higher the product. As less resources, either energy or material, is consuming, the better the profit. We will be happy as sustainable designer to be stressed by our the company that give us the design of the washing machine, that say you have to design the most efficient ever possible washing machine because I want to get lots of money out of it. Here the S.PSS provider is selling the access to energy production unit, so what is producing the energy, with all inclusive even the energy, the source of energy that is used to produce electricity, or to produce the energy, with a modality that is pay per period, time of satisfaction, or per utility. And the ownership remain by the provider. Let's see one example. So here we have an energy supplier that is giving a diesel generator to a house, say, and it's paid per time by him. But he said, I'm going to pay the source of energy. I retain the ownership of the diesel generator, but I'm going to pay even the source of energy that you are going to use to have this. So he's paying the energy resource cost. And if this is diesel, so non-renewable resources, this is a cost. What happens if we go to, maybe I'll let you to say now, he's speaking too much. What happens if we move towards a renewable resources? Again, this doesn't change, so I put it. Here we have a solar panel, it's a pay per time. But what cost we are saving? Do we have to pay the sun? So when it's passive, we don't have to pay, okay? So we don't have this cost going towards renewable resources. The higher the use of passive renewable resources of energy, the higher the profit. The payment minus the cost of the resource. The point is that energy is a big business, okay? It's the 70% of the GDP worldwide. And the big multinational of energy have a big power and don't want to lose this power, okay? And when they use non-renewable resources, they are the only one that can produce this because they have big power plants to do this and whatever. They remain by their ownership. We will see this centralized system compared to decentralized system in the next lecture. they don't want you have a solar panel on your roof, because then you are producing your energy and they lose the business. So there is a very, very strong lobby there beside. But the system in itself is really very sustainable, more resilience and whatever. Think about it, only in Italy, if you put 40 kilometer per 40 kilometer of solar panel, you say a lot, wow, but you can maybe put it here and there. You can satisfy all the energy demand of Italy, all the energy demand with the technology that we have nowadays, which is not that efficient, because the big multinational energy don't want to invest that much on those technology and really stop everything. Okay, so the difficulties are actually much more on the political power reason more than other. But maybe we will come to this in another moment. Nevertheless, it's increasing a lot, and we will see that this is very, very important even in low and middle income countries. We have been working a lot on energy in the previous project, the lenses, I told you, the one with the African university, till, I don't know if you remember, we had one project just on S.PSS and distributed renewable energy. And it was really amazing what we came out with, and really very interesting. And it's not just me speaking about this, okay? There are lots of authors. So what is again? It's in the economic interest of the company to say to the designer, listen guy, you have to design something that is used as much as possible passive and renewable resources.